as individual ones.
Egypt has a long-standing history with many nations around the world where they have cultural exchange programs between them so we can bridge gaps between us. Let's go find out more about these exchanges.
Relations between Egypt and India have a long history. The two countries enjoy very strong ties. India by the Nile Festival continues its activities at Cairo Opera House. A number of shows were recently held and fans highly interacted with them.
I am done. Someone turn on the light, please. You may proceed.
My Lord, it all began with a nondescript kitchen knife and a sword. You see, my Lord, to learn the art of slicing onions.
So this show is the Arabian Nights, the very famous story of Arabian Nights. It's called The Nights, and this show premiered last year in France, and now this is the second premiere in Egypt. It has not performed in India, so it's very special that we are here. And the show is some famous stories from the Nights, like Aladdin, Ali Baba, and Abu Hassan's story, but with some new ideas. And it's with puppets and masks. I think the arts can speak a language which doesn't matter if you don't know each other's spoken language, and they surpass that. And I think it speaks through feelings, and so it's a very human connection, and that's what we hope to do today. For us, this is very special because, as you would know, the Arabian Nights story, they come from many countries. They come from Egypt, they come from India, they come from China, they come from Syria. So this entire belt is where the stories come from. So it's very special for us that we are here performing. So it's with this artistic relation and the relation of the story, it's I think it's a very special evening. It's spectacular. It's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful space with so many beautiful theaters. We are very happy to be here, and it's a big honor for us to be here today.
So the show is called the Nights. It's based on the Arabian Nights, and my role is I'm on stage as one of the characters, but mostly I did the sound design, and I'm one of the co-writers of the show. We've been building the show for some years now. We started actually in 2020, and at that time then there was the coronavirus pandemic, so we had to stop for a year, and then we started to build again. And me and the co-writer, her name is Aditi Rao, we used some of the original stories of Arabian Nights, but we want to tell them in a new way for new audiences. So we focus on different characters, and we try to. Two of the stories are really well known. Aladdin and Ali Baba, but we pick a third story that is not so well known. So that, yeah. I think culturally there are a lot of similarities between Egypt and India. It's my first time here, so I don't know the city that well, but we got a chance to travel a little bit around Cairo yesterday, and I'll come from Delhi, and even in Delhi there is a mix of the traditional, the old city and the new modern city, and they are almost like one on top of each other. And I see that that's similar in Cairo, and I feel like very connected to the few people that I have met here. I feel quite connected. There's a similar history with British people and then post-colonialism, and two countries very proud of their own traditional culture. But also moving into the in the 21st century into kind of new languages, new forms. So I feel there's a very nice link between the two, between Egypt and India. Yeah. Honestly, this is my first experience of the festival, and today is our first show. I'm really looking forward to playing in front of a local audience. I know there will be some Indians in the audience, but mostly I'm excited to see what the local Egyptian audience thinks of the play and how they respond to it, because Arabian Nights are very well known across the world, and I think that the whole excitement of performing in a different country is to see what a different audience, how they see the show. In India, sometimes it's familiar to us, we know those audiences, so I'm very glad we have the opportunity here to bring Indian shows to an Egyptian audience. I wish the opposite is also possible, that Egyptian shows come to India as well.
Pull me up! Give me the lamp first, my child. No, pull me up first! Give me the lamp! Are you crazy? Pull me up! Give me the lamp! Will you give me the lamp or not? No!
This production is like we are starting in 2019 before the lockdown, and then suddenly it's lockdown happened and we couldn't find the space where we rehearse, and then we can start rehearsing online, and then in 2021 we get on the floor and start our practice. So I'm playing like 3-4 characters: Ali Baba, Aladdin, and Abu Hassan. These are the main character in this play. So I'm playing those characters. Before that, in 2018, I came here, the same festival, India by the Nile. That time we perform Images of Truth. It's about Gandhi's life. The show is about Gandhi's life. I think the last time we found like it's very excited and people love the Indian culture and they love like what we did on stage. So yeah, that's the amazing for us, and they give us lots of energy to on stage when we perform. My things are it's like in Egypt also it's lots of cultural happening. In India it's also lots of culture. So we are very strong in culture. You have lots of like history, and we have also like history from like old, and you are the oldest history you have. So it's amazing, and also the like people are so humble here, and very they welcome, very warm welcome they give us when we arrive here. So it's amazing for us. So this is, I think this is my first time I perform in like opera house, and the street food is amazing. We had lots of street food, and the chai is quite good, and Turkish coffee is amazing for me. Yes.
We've been in conversation. The conversation has been on for about 2 years before the show opened. I've been involved in this play as a light designer, and so we've been sort of talking about the design of the show and how it's going to look, what the general aesthetics of it would be, where we're going to set it, how to place it, how much we want sort of fully comfortably visible, how much we want to hide, how much we want to conceal. All those questions have sort of been on for a while, and we started properly working on the play in rehearsal for about 2 months before we opened. We opened about a year ago, and it's also constantly changing. So even here, what we're going to present tonight is slightly different from what we did, say, a year ago when we toured in France.
I told you I am not your uncle. We are total opposite. He and I. And he. So, tell me, Berata, what do you want?
Sir, then let me see if you can get me out of this game.
Berata, this is a magic lamp. Here, on the hand. And you are the master. So,
India by the Nile Festival is one of the most significant artistic festivals. The shows reflect the Indian culture. The main aim of the festival is to enhance relations between Egypt and India in the field of art. Basma Taha for Cultural Magazine.